So, welcome back to another episode, and welcome to my Street Fighter V first reactions, my first thoughts on the game. I've been looking forward to this game for a very long time, and last night it went live. I'd downloaded the game a long time ago so I could play the beta. Last night it finally installed, and I was playing it all night, and I played it quite a bit today. And I just wanted to share my first thoughts on the game with you guys. So what do I first of all think? Let's get right to it. What is the game like? What is the core gameplay like? It is fantastic. I'm a big, obviously you guys know, big Street Fighter fan. I love Street Fighter 4. I thought it was the epitome of the series. The new game is the best it's ever played. Honestly, the gameplay feels wonderful. I was playing with Ken and I was doing moves and combos so fluidly and so easily. I just took to this game and I loved it. I love the new special features. I haven't gotten into all the brand new V triggers and all that kind of crazy stuff yet. I'm going to learn about that over the next few weeks. But overall, from a basic gameplay point of view, is it great? Yes, it's fantastic. The gameplay is a 10 out of 10. The visuals are stunning. Man, oh man, it's so funny. Last night I stopped, I put the controller down, and I just watched the screen, and I was watching one of my favorite levels, my favorite new levels, and I had Ken and I had Karen in there, and I sat there, and I just sat and watched them for like 5 to 10 minutes. This is something that I used to do in my early 20s. I remember doing it with Alpha 2 when I first got it. I was so in love with the stage, or the music and the graphics. I just sat there and took in a moment. It's like smelling the fucking roses. And I did that last night, and I was like, wow, look at these visuals. There is nothing to complain about here. And it's 25 years later after the original Street Fighter 2. You can't complain. It looks fantastic, and I love it. It's the same cartoony style, anime style graphics. It's been updated, but for some reason it just works really, really well. It doesn't seem like anime too much, but it doesn't seem too much like realistic, like Street Fighter the movie, the game, or something. But anyways, let's get to it. So those things are working for it. The basic gameplay like that is excellent. What about the overall package? This is sadly where things start to fall apart a little bit. We have a versus mode. So, if you have friends over, you can play versus with them. This is great, like the olden days. But let me just go back to one of the staples of Street Fighter, and that has always been the arcade mode, or the one-player, single-player experience. Now, when I had Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo, I had versus mode, which is great when I had friends over. But obviously, you don't always have friends over. You'd have the most annoying house ever. But what I would do is I'd play the single arcade mode all the way through, and I'd pump up the difficulty and make that my challenge. If I could do it on medium, I'd pump up the stars on that, and that's how I got my fill of the game, and I really enjoyed doing that. Can you do that the same here? No. There's no arcade mode, which is really kind of crappy. There's a story mode, which consists, you pick a character, like I picked Ken, and you fight 4 matches, which are one single round each, and then you get the ending. And it's got anime cutscenes in between. Is it interesting? It's okay. It's not going to blow your mind. It's not like anime cutscenes or anything kind of cool like that. They're just still static images, and they're well drawn. They're okay. They're not going to blow your mind, but they tell a basic story, and then it kind of just cuts off, and you're like, oh, I finished Ken's story in about 3 minutes. And it's not hard. These story modes are not hard. There's no challenge there. And then 1 hour later, I finished every single character. I finished the game with every character. Was any of that challenging? No. It was just kind of like, okay, here's the little stories. And then it says the rest of the stories are going to be unlocked in the future. I think that's what's going to happen. Okay. This is where I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. I don't get angry about this stuff. Well, oh, fuck me in the ass. This is bullshit. No. I'm disappointed. I can't just play the old single player and get the end boss and have that challenging fight, and that doesn't exist. There's survival mode, where you fight wave after wave of enemies, and that's kind of like that. Okay. So, there's that. The online. So I went online last night, and I did not get online. I did not get online all last night. So I was like, well, shit. So I sat in training mode and just practiced and practiced and practiced. I never got online last night. I finally got online this morning for a little bit of time. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the wall waiting for it to load. It was just like searching for person, you know, for opponent. You're waiting. And you're waiting, and it's like that, and then you get a black screen. Then you see both the characters come together, and you just stand there and you're waiting for that, and you're like, is this ever going to start? And then it started, and it was so laggy. I mean, so laggy that characters were jumping. Like, even my own character was disappearing. I'm like, you know, the characters are not this fast. They were like quantum teleporting all over the screen, and not because of the gameplay, but because the lag was so bad. The online is just not where it should be yet. I'm going to give them a few days on it, but the only thing that kind of bothers me is the beta. This is what the beta was supposed to be all about, and I remember getting the beta, and the beta was a disaster for playing online. It never worked for me really well. I finally got into some matches, you know, eventually, like a month or two into the beta, but I thought that this was what the beta was all about. That's why I pre-ordered the game. I thought I get to play the game and I get to help out in the beta. I thought that'd be a win-win for everybody. Well, I don't know what's been going on down there, but the online is just not where it's at. I'm going to give them a few days. I'm not too concerned yet, but for me, it's so weird. We're living in the year 2016 and we're playing games that are not finished. I'm not upset at Street Fighter V. It's phenomenal. All the gameplay elements are there. I'm not knocking that. I'm just kind of knocking the fact that they're releasing games these days that are not complete. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to unlock this later on. And okay, sure. Why couldn't we do this to begin with? Why couldn't I see everything to begin with? And I understand characters unlocking down the road. Those are freebies, which are wonderful, but I just was really kind of bummed out about the lack of a single-player experience and lack of the online working. Can you imagine? So last night, I couldn't get online. So in olden days, I couldn't do versus mode. So what do you do when you can't do versus mode? You do single-player mode. Well, there wasn't really a robust single-player, so I just did the story mode, which was so simple. It doesn't get any easier than that. So I guess I'll wait for the game to come out fully sooner than later. It says bits are going to be unlocked in March. Yeah, so a bit disappointing. Hopefully I can get Rob over and we can do some versus mode and I can get something out of the game that way. But you know, I don't want to bash on it too much. Those are things that are a big gripe, and they should be a big gripe. They should be. I paid for this game like I don't even know how many months ago. 6 months ago, 7 months ago. And the day comes out, it's not working. It's missing things. Man, take me back to Street Fighter 2. You know, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not calling the past. I've been wanting to embrace this game and wanting to enjoy it. And yeah, I don't want to keep on going on about it because it could just go on for too long. But what do you guys think of Street Fighter V so far? Am I crazy here? Am I the only person who thinks this? You know, it's just so unusual. I don't want to be picking on the game. I'm a happy console gamer. I don't want to be bashing on it. You know, but in a way, I have to. Because it just doesn't feel complete. There's so many games these days they release and they don't give you a single player. Titanfall, remember that? And Battlefront. It's just, they don't care. All they want to do is throw you online and give you DLC. It seems. They don't care about creating a one-player experience. Even in Street Fighter, they're doing that now. That's fucked up. Street Fighter, the arcade game experience was part of the game, where I guess they don't think it is now. So, I don't know. I'll give it a few more days for the online to start working and for everything to streamline out and wait for the DLC add-on of the storyline in the future to be able to fully appreciate and play this game. So, anyways, guys, until next time.